he said, can you happy so I don't have to you? What?
All that he had to say to her was, "I love you so much," and would just continue to cry. YouTube Kids! Over the past few days, I was scrolling on Instagram Reels when I stumbled on one reel in particular. In this reel, there's a guy explaining a video that he's showcasing behind him where a frantic mother describes a situation that she had regarding her child.
Parents need to keep their kids off of YouTube because there is a brand new YouTube Kids channel that they are all watching. The channel is even more worse than you could think. But for context, what this mom just caught her kid watching on YouTube not only is making people sick to their stomachs, and after watching this channel, listen to what her kid says that he's gonna do to her.
See, her child was spending time on YouTube Kids, the YouTube platform designed specifically for children. And well, she claimed that he was watching something that he most likely should not have based on things that he told her in the following days. She claims that this all started when her child would come to her in the middle of the night crying for no apparent reason, and when she would prod him for answers, all that he had to say to her was, "I love you so much," and would just continue to cry.
My son has been coming into my room anywhere from 9 to 11 o'clock at night, and he's crying, and he gives me a hug, and when I ask him what's wrong, he says, "I just love you."
But then she says what he does next is insane.
Now, obviously at this point, nothing led her to believe that this was linked to what her child could have potentially been viewing on YouTube Kids. But the following day, her son would let her know what the deal is. One morning, the kid asked her mother, "Can you die happy?" And the mother had no idea what this meant. She was completely taken off guard by this.
In the morning, we're eating breakfast, and he looks over at me and he says, "Mommy, can you happy?" And I'm like, "You what? What?" And he said, "Can you happy so I don't have to you?" What?
And so he continued to ask further, "Can you die happy so I don't have to off you?" Essentially, in other terms. And this obviously took the mother off guard, and she said, "You want to off me?" And the kid was clearly broken up in emotion. And he says, "I don't want to, but the show told me that you have to die happy."
I said, "You want me to?" And he said, "No, I don't, but the show said that you have to happy."
Does anybody know what channel that she's talking about?
The mother took to TikTok, made this post, and it got kind of viral. Now, whoever put this video together is really no help at all because nothing in the video is even related to whatever show this could potentially be. And he leaves it on a cliffhanger too. He's like, "Hey, do you guys know what show this could potentially be?" The photos are completely unrelated, and he also is claiming that it's a brand new YouTube channel, which we're gonna find out is probably the farthest thing from the truth that could be. So I decided to do some digging in the comment section, and pretty much everyone's come to the conclusion that there was no show, period. Most of them assume that this guy is just trying to comment farm and get people to engage with speculating what this show could have potentially been, and other people make the argument that maybe there's a greater message to this reel that you should just keep your kids off of YouTube, or YouTube Kids for that matter. And yeah, I mean, I probably would agree to both of them. They both make sense. He's definitely comment farming. That's just how it goes. But then I landed on one comment in particular. It says, "It's Doofy the Dragon and it's demonic," quote unquote. And then further down, I see another one stating that it's Doofy the Dragon again. So now we have a name to pin to this potentially lost media. At this point, I was like, this could definitely be like lost media or something. Like, where could it have gone? It is relatively new, but let's figure it out. So I decided to take my search to Google and I type in Doofy the Dragon, and I see multiple TikTok results regarding this initial Instagram reel that we've been watching because it's been plastered everywhere and there's a bunch of different links, and I choose to click on one titled "The Dragon Show, Parents Keep Your Kids Off YouTube." I guess that's like the hashtag or whatever these videos were listed under. Now, upon clicking, the top results are filled with multiple variations of the reel that we just watched. They've been it's been absolutely flooded with this one reel of this mother expressing her concerns, and it's paired with any type of brain rot you could imagine. From people cutting hair to cutting slime to drawing, it's literally all happening next to this woman talking about how her son is watching a TV show where they're telling him to off his parents. It's a little dystopian, to say the least. It's a little weird. I decided to keep looking forward, and I kept scrolling and scrolling down. And the further down I got, I finally saw a few different TikToks sprinkled into the mix. There were a few Spanish-speaking news channels posting about this story, and this time they were paired with actual screenshots of the supposed Doofy the dinosaur, or dragon, Doofy the dragon. The reporters go on to give a recap of the mother's story and show Doofy and explain how at first glance he's seemingly a colorful, soft puppet that's made for a kid's show and clearly would garner kids' attention. But they allude to the fact that he may have more nefarious motives than meet the eye. One reporter in particular explains how the show's intentions are to get into the viewer's mind and convince them to essentially off themselves. While she explains this, she shows a clip of Doofy the dragon in the background, and the quality of the video seems extremely low budget. I'm talking like the camera quality, the production quality, literally everything. It seems like something that I would have filmed when I was like 12 years old on YouTube. It shows the dragon sock puppet sitting on the grass while clearly being operated by someone, and the dragon is talking to a small little bunny figurine. She then goes on to explain that the dragon supposedly stabs the bunny to death. She goes on to explain some of the other dark details of this series, where supposedly in one episode, the dragon character gets electrocuted to death, and then in another one, the dragon drinks some Clorox and tells the viewers that it'll make you go to heaven, or something along those lines. Some very dark themes being discussed around this entire series. Now, on first glance with the information that we have, I got the feeling that this was old content that just did not age well, at worst. Given the quality of the camera and the topics that were being discussed, it just seemed like some edgy, like edgelord humor on YouTube in the early days. But I needed to see it for myself. Now, the reporters, they all claim that this content was geared specifically towards children, and I had my reservations, but as I continued to watch the TikTok, the reporter went on to explain that all of this can be found on YouTube Kids. Now, from my understanding, that would mean that somebody intentionally, when uploading this content, checked a box saying that this content was in fact made for kids. I don't know exactly how YouTube Kids works, but I know for a fact that when you're uploading content on it, you do have to specify whether or not it's going on that portion of the platform. Now, a lot of people do speculate that YouTube also, kind of scrapes the platform and finds content that's made for kids, and it will just push it on there, which is another method that they could be using, but it's not concrete, and I'm not 100% sure if that is what occurs. She goes on to say that there are malicious people out there trying to make content that is aimed at children with adult themes in it, and that you need to guard your children. And I will definitely second that. You definitely do need to guard your children at the end of the day whenever they're on the internet. Don't leave your kids unsupervised. There's like a lot of weird stuff on YouTube specifically, and I'm sure that you watching this and me, I can definitely agree that growing up, I saw some weird stuff on YouTube that could be, geared towards children just because of the fact that it was an animated series or something along those lines. That was just part of the course when growing up on YouTube back in the day. It was just kind of like the trendy thing, I feel like. Now, with that being said, obviously, watching something like Happy Tree Friends as a 5-year-old is probably not the smartest idea. Huh? And I'm sure it would disturb a 5-year-old or something like that because they're super young, you know what I mean? However, if this content made it specifically on YouTube Kids platform, that's a whole different story. because that content is made specifically for young children. It's not just a broad platform for everyone. It's not a platform where you can make a cartoon that's geared towards adults that could be misconstrued as a children's show. It's made for content specifically geared towards children. There's no if, ands, or but about it. So now that I see all of these Spanish news channels talking about this Doofy the Dragon character, it added a little bit of validity to him being the potential, star of whatever this nightmare show is that children are watching. So I decided to do some research on YouTube. I hopped on there and I typed in Doofy the Dinosaur, and the first thing that popped up for me was a YouTube short. And when I click on this short, something just seems a little bit different than all of the clips that I've seen previously. This YouTube short was titled Doofy the Dragon, First Appearance versus Last Appearance. And in the video, it's just his first appearance, he's like alone in a bathtub or something, and his last appearance, he has a bunch of people around him. And a few things struck me weird with this video. In the first clip, yes, he is alone, and it does seem like a little bit lower budget. However, the camera quality already seems way better. And the video is saying that this is his first appearance. So if this is actually his first appearance, what was that original clip from in the TikToks that looked like it was shot on a potato? In the second clip, the show clearly evolved. The camera quality is much higher. It seems like they have an entire production crew at this point, as they have multiple puppets being operated. And it just seems like something that could potentially be made into an entire series that's aimed towards children. So it seemed like a promising lead. Now, some people may see this and say, oh, it doesn't really mean anything. The show just progressed over time and the quality got better. It probably was shot on that potato and then got much better. But if this was his first and last appearance, why was the quality so much better than what we saw before? And then separately, I've also thought about the wording in the caption, appearance. And it kind of just made me think, like, maybe this is a variety show where there's all of these characters and Doofy the Dragon is just one character of many. Maybe like me looking up Doofy the Dragon isn't gonna find anything because he's just a character on some other unknown show. But at this point, I was like 3 hours into research. I felt like I was losing my mind and I thought I needed to take a break. But I decided to turn yet another stone and I discovered a YouTube channel. This YouTube channel goes by the name Austin V TV, who posted multiple Doofy the Dragon episodes from 3 years ago. Now, episode 6 alone, which is the one that I saw first, gathered 120,000 views, which was more views than anything Doofy the Dragon related that I could find on YouTube. So I figured this must be the original source, and I clicked on the video.
Man, I'm hungry. I think we can eat. Ooh, cookies. I'll grab this one cookie.
A few things became clear. Firstly, the camera quality was pretty bad, even though the videos weren't really that old. 3 years ago is not that old, but the camera quality did look like it was shot on a potato. So I thought maybe these TikToks were pulling it from this account. Secondly, the videos were clearly made by kids, from the voices that you could hear behind the camera to the quality of puppetry, similar to that of the scene of the dragon being in the field of grass. You could tell that this channel was being operated by children. Content made by kids for kids. And with that being said, lastly, which this one was a little bit of a curveball, there were virtually no adult themes, period, in any of these episodes. Now, I went through all of them and it was squeaky clean, aside from, the random, like, bright neon orange Nerf guns that they would shoot each other with. This was definitely not the channel that I was looking for. And it wasn't our guy. Period. So I continued digging and there were a bunch of accounts that were similar to this where, they clearly had the Doofy the Dragon puppet, but it seemed almost like a parody account. Multiple accounts were clearly run by children because there was virtually no storyline in the episodes and the audio quality was clearly terrible, the camera quality was terrible, or there was even a few sprinkled throughout that were uploaded really recently and clearly parody accounts on the situation you know, prodding and poking fun on these sensitive topics. So I took to Amazon and found that in the past you could have purchased this dragon on their website because it was just a generic green sock puppet dragon thing, and pretty much anybody could have purchased it. But the question still remains, who is Doofy, and why are all these kids trying to recreate the content that they probably have once saw? They're all attributing this dragon to Doofy. Clearly he was a character in the past, but from where? So I continue to look onward, and I find another video with the exact same thumbnail as that of Austin V TV's videos, and the video is titled All Doofy Dragon Episodes, and it's posted by a channel called Risky Fun. Initially I thought it was just going to be a compilation of the kids' videos that I just wasted like 2 hours watching, and I thought it wasn't going to be anything new, to be quite honest. But then I saw that this compilation video was posted 6 years ago, which predates Austin V TV's channel by 3 years. So this must have been the original Doofy the Dragon content. So I decided to click on the video and see what we got. And the same intro played, but then...
Hi kids, I'm Doofy the Dragon, and I'm gonna sing about farm animals. Sing along with me if you know the words. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
It was the clips from the TikTok. Doofy was seen on the ground, and he was in fact attacking a bunny with a knife. Additionally, in the compilation, Doofy is seen doing drugs, drinking Clorox, like I said before, drinking gasoline, and even sitting in a running car in a garage. So Doofy is definitely no stranger to edgy comedy. In every single one of his videos, he is addressing the audience as children, saying, "Hey kids!"
Hi kids, I'm Doofy the Dragon.
And essentially, the premise from what I gathered of every video is Doofy just figuring out different ways to off himself because his life sucks, apparently. It seems as if the TikTok crowd funneled into the comment section, with many people saying that they came from TikTok or how this content needs to be deleted off of YouTube because of how disturbing it really is. A few others shed further light onto the situation by clarifying who Doofy really is and where he came from. A user by the name Beffer65 commented, "Before anyone complains, this content is from an adult YouTube channel called SML. Someone just re-uploaded the video from the channel and apparently YouTube assumed it was for kids and it got mislabeled, so don't go after Logan, the creator of the Doofy videos, because it wasn't even meant for kids to begin with. YouTube is really to blame for their terrible filtering. Also, monitor your kids better, by the way." So this comment further cements the idea that this was some old edgelord content that was par for the course of that time period. This re-upload was posted 6 years ago, so who knows how old the original content actually could have been. For that, we're gonna have to dive in deeper to Logan and his YouTube channel, SML. Logan 38er was the creator of SML, a sock puppet YouTube channel that kind of was centered around a bunch of Nintendo character puppets just interacting with each other, getting into trouble, you know, edge comedy, all that type of stuff. He originally made the YouTube channel back in 2007, posting random videos where he'd act out scenes using his toys. The videos at this point were pretty rudimentary. However, he gained a small following and definitely cultivated it over time. And at this point, there's an entire Wikipedia surrounding the happenings of his YouTube channel. Doofy the Dragon wasn't introduced into the SML canon until 2015 in the video Bowser Jr.'s Sleepover.
But we want some cartoons!
Yes, totally.
Alrighty, kids, it's time for Doofy the Dragon!
Hi kids, I'm Doofy the Dragon, and it's bath time, and I'm gonna teach you how to clean yourself. So here's a catchy little jingle.
And he supposedly retired him in 2018 due to YouTube cracking down on his content. See, Logan was no stranger to YouTube controversy at all, specifically controversy regarding his content influencing children. Logan posted a video on SML titled Jeffy's Tantrum, where a character called Jeffy became an emo supposedly because his dad didn't buy him a video game or something along those lines. And towards the end of the video, the character Jeffy Jeffy creates a noose and attempts to off himself. Now, the video didn't really get much, hate or anything like that along those lines. It didn't really get much attention at all. Most people just thought it was his typical content and they went about their lives. However, in December of that year, a child in the UK attempted to make a noose out of Christmas tree tinsel and told his mother that he was doing it because Jeffy did it, and he was attempting to recreate what he saw in this video. This story gained a lot of media traction, and it made its way all the way to YouTube headquarters, where inevitably they wound up demonetizing and age restricting Logan's account. This would be the first of many up and downs that Logan would have to face in his battle to have his channel continue running on YouTube for the following years. About a year after the incident, the Doofy the Dragon character was retired, seemingly because of how edgy the content was regarding him. And in the following years, due to his battles with YouTube and an additional lawsuit from Nintendo for using their IP, his main channel, along with a few additional channels that he created in an attempt to, kind of dodge the restrictions, they all got deleted. He wound up deleting every single one of them. Nowadays, Logan still does have a new YouTube channel called SML Movies, where he still uploads videos today, seemingly making content that better fits the YouTube guidelines. So we found the guy and we found the creation, and it really was just an adult channel that was somehow on YouTube Kids for some reason, and it was very old content at that. So I decided to take a look on YouTube Kids myself and look up Doofy the Dragon and just see what would come up. If you currently look on there for Doofy the Dragon, nothing will come up. Nothing related to SML, nothing related to Doofy the Dragon, nothing at all. It's almost so scrubbed that it's a little bit suspicious. It seems like YouTube may have stepped in and tried to clean things up. If you look it up, all that comes up is like generic stuff like Bluey or just a bunch of like random generic kids shows. Now, I went further and looked up SML into the search bar, and by doing that, I did happen to come across a bunch of YouTube videos that were centered around the SML character Jeffy. Now, none of these accounts, from what I can tell, are affiliated with Logan or SML. However, it is still kind of disturbing that this character, who has such a dark past, carried with him, is allowed to be on YouTube Kids. I think this perfectly segues into the actual issue here, YouTube Kids itself. From what I can tell, Logan is trying to have a career on YouTube, and I doubt that he is uploading anything specifically onto YouTube Kids, pushing that envelope of getting his account terminated. I doubt that he would try to push any new content on there or even any previous content that he was affiliated with. Logan's past may be riddled with controversy at the end of the day. However, nowadays, from retiring the Doofy character to battling against the guidelines for the past few years, he seems to be making an honest attempt to push back from his edgy past. YouTube Kids must be allowing re-uploaded content or recreations of some type to be viewed on the platform. From what I can see, none of these videos with Jeffy really do have anything explicitly bad in them. They're all pretty tame for the most part, but I'm sure that since the story broke, YouTube cleaned up the feed a bit. Like I said, when you look up Doofy the Dragon, it's completely wiped. It looks almost too sterile. In the end, I think that the YouTube Kids algorithm slipped in one way or another and fed that original kid whatever he wound up seeing, and I don't think that anybody uploaded it onto the platform, to be quite honest. And with that being said, whatever he saw, it may not have even been Doofy the Dragon, which, kind of brings this all full circle into those original comments where people were saying that, oh, it's about YouTube Kids being the issue, because yeah, regardless of if it's SML or Doofy the Dragon, there is weird content being put on YouTube Kids, and it does need to be further investigated. So that's the first part. And then secondly, make sure your kids are not unsupervised on these platforms. Yes, it is a platform geared for children, but that's never like a failsafe. Especially for very young children, they should not be glued to their iPads. Like, who wants an iPad baby at the end of the day, right? So those are the two major takeaways I have from this. YouTube Kids needs to figure out their algorithm. It's sending weird stuff to children. And secondly, maybe consider taking your kids off of YouTube Kids and just, let them look outside of a window or something. I don't know, that's my take on it, guys. What do you think? That's gonna do it for the video today. Do you think that SML and Doofy the Dragon is a nefarious channel? Or do you think that it's some old edgelord content that somehow made its way onto the platform? If you enjoyed the video, I post 3 times a week, weird, wacky internet stories, deep dives, expose videos. We do it all here on Peablar TV too, so definitely consider becoming a part of the Peablar Nation, hitting that bell, hitting that subscribe, and making it a part of your weekly schedule. As for me, I am your boy Peablar. It's been real, guys, and until next time, be well and peace.